And even if you were to have like a prompt of 10 different things, right? Like say if you had one prompt of like, oh, like here's 10 different personality traits, here's 10 different superpowers, here's 10 different drawbacks.
I like coming up with random list of powers and then just see what I come up with.
Imagine rolling just those things every single time. It's always going to vary. The possibility of that happening is, again, like a 1 in 10 chance, but it's like, it shows that there's
always something else cool right around the corner that we can come up with, because there's no end to the prompts. There's no end to what we can roll up.
We're going to be officially rolling for superpowers. This is usually the make or break.
Roll for Hero!
Are we here? Okay. We made it! Ayo, and hello everyone, and welcome to Roll for Hero, the segment of the channel in which we let the dice dictate what on God's green earth we will be drawing for today. It is me, your ever weird and ever loving Uncle E, and of course with me today is my big bearded, bald-headed, beautiful co-star. You know him, you love him, claim to be the world's sexiest man of all time, Mr. Fish. This way.
What is up, everybody? Glad to be here. Glad to see you. Glad to see Dragon Gaming in the comments already. Excited, jumping at the bit, ready to go. Glad to be here. Excited to see what we come up
Dragon
with.
Gaming's doing over here. It's like, I need to see what kind of character is going on over here.
This is going to be the first of our backer streams for Roll for Hero. For the Kickstarter. Now, this one is still public because we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to check it out, and that all of our regular viewers, if they haven't got in on the Kickstarter yet, they can go over to gomrfish.com and get in on it and check it out. What's up, Bill? Glad to see you, man. We are at 23 backers. We're at $1,246. We've beaten the goal. We still got good ways to go. That's going to cover getting everything printed, but it'd be nice to be able to, pay some bills and cover some costs and expenses and whatnot as well. But we are here to start rolling up the characters that are going to be in the mini comic that we are going to create together on these live streams. We're going to do 3 sessions of character creation, and then we're going to let the backers vote on it. So hopefully between Wednesday afternoon, Friday night, and Monday evening, hopefully everybody's going to get a chance to tune in and get to take part in some character creation. And then we all get to vote on it and see who we're going to use as the main characters. Dad Pool's in the house, visiting family, but still checking in. Little Kyron Silva from California coming in clutch. Good to see you, man. Excited to have everybody here.
I am so ecstatic because now for those that just popped in, and obviously, if you listen to Mr. Fish and what he was just stating, season 3, holy cow, I wish this was season 3.
3 sessions is what he said.
I lied. Forget my dyslexic is what I am. I barely made it through high school. Anyways, in today's overall session, we're going to be creating at least one of the said 3 characters that we're going to develop. And it is up to the backers, those who went to the Why am I?
GoMrFish.com.
That one. Hold on, let me.
It's all the words to remember is the problem.
I know, no, it's the fact that I'm trying to be all like out there and here, there, and everywhere else. Basically, for those of you that may or may not know, we have created the Go Mr. Fish Kickstarter for the Roll for Hero Handbook. Totally, smooth off the tongue there. For those who have backed it, you guys will be getting exclusive access to the streams, and in those streams, you're going to be the ones to dictate what kind of situation our characters are going to embark on. Yes, Kyron, words are hard, and I am not good at that. And somehow, I'm an adult. We're here. I'm functioning. I am. Okay, I had a pulse. I am. Anyways, so today we're going to be doing session, we're all doing session 1 of 3. We're going to figure out which character is going to be the main character, and that's going to be the hardest part. Literally, before this entire stream started, Fish was telling, me, it was like, we got it. Like, we can't stick to the design. We can't, fall in love with it. I'm like, Fish, that's basically telling, a sugar addict we can't have a cookie. And we're both fitting into the category, all right? I'm married to a baker. This is not easy by any metric.
It's hard not to get attached when, you're creating characters like a were killer whale or, a giant plant alien or even this guy that I created on a live stream last night with the guys at Artist in Progress, this chick that was abducted by aliens and given the power to grow super large and a sonic scream. I would love to make a mini comic about her, but that's not what we're here for today. We're
Exactly.
here to roll up a brand new character, and we can't get super attached because, you know, it might not be the one everybody votes for, or it might be. We might do it on the very first day.
Or we could
It
have
could
like
be
a
team
hero and a
comic, like Bill said.
sidekick. We might have a hero and a sidekick type situation, kind of like how in season 2. Again, I think season 2 is going to be our like perfect peak reference to any season of this show as of this moment, because of how like we built an entire universe for 12 episodes, and we have Jupiter Jack and Mercury Mandy. I remember we tried switching the name because of, you know, the planets and stuff like that. But like those two characters ended up being like the perfect ideas of like the heroes, and they work well as like big hero, you know, and sidekick. And in the case of Jupiter Jack and Meteor Mandy, very much big hero and tiny sidekick. So for all we know, we could develop a hero, the side character, the villain, so on and so forth. And I was actually going to show this off because, again, I ended up doing a fun few roll for hero sessions of my own, just, you know, my own private time.
It's fun.
You know, it's fun. It really is fun. I'm casually drawing characters. Like, this is Sprout based off of rainbow trees in Hawaii. And like whenever you kind of peel it, it has like a new layer of color. So I want to kind of go off of that. And I really like the way that this came out, you know. And then of course 4th of July special, if it shows, you know, we got this guy, you know, zooming through the air, you know, love this overall aesthetic. This one was another fun one that I did on my own. I call him Luminous. He is like basically Cyclops, but like Kung Fu and controls light magic instead of punch energy, because that totally makes sense. And then what we ended up doing for our session last week, for just having a fun time for the Kickstarter. I think y'all make themes and I think if y'all make the theme and protagonist right away, making the story becomes a little easier. And you are not wrong, Dragon Gaming. Mm-hmm. You are not wrong by any metric. But here's the thing. Funnily enough, now that we have both characters established here, I mean, yesterday Fish was so hooked on the concept of like, you know, this firefighter hero and then this kaiju-esque monster, you know, somehow working together in a story. And already you can develop an entire world based off of these characters here. So kind of like how we're doing it. I mean, then again, these two characters work really well together in their own little fun section and their own stories. We're going to develop creating our very own characters for the Roll for Hero, you know, mini comics. So whatever characters we roll up, that's going to dictate the setting. That's going to dictate, you know, the type of characters we're going to be drawing, the villain, you know, all that other kind of stuff. Because once you develop a character, the world, because keep in mind, when you're making a mini comic, you need to have a character, and eventually you're going to develop a setting for that character. You know what I mean? Again, creating comics, creating worlds can be a vastly strange and a unique process. There's not really like a one, you know, size fits all kind of a situation here. But in the case of Roll for Hero, because we're literally having to roll up a singular, maybe two characters, we have to keep in mind that we are developing the world as much as we're going to be developing the characters, kind of a situation. Mm-hmm. So I've been
public domain world. Creating superheroes is a lot of fun. It is tough. I love the internet now because it's so easy to find people that enjoy the same things you do now. It's the thing that I miss most as an adult about like being in school, because we were forced together with kids from all over town. So it was easy to find, what's up, Eddie Von B? It's easy to find the people that liked heavy metal music or liked comic books or liked video games, and to hang out with those people. But for the rest of my life, there's no guarantee that I was going to work at a job with anybody else that liked comics as much as I did. And, you know, so finding people that liked the same stuff was a lot harder until we got the internet. And now you can hang out with us online 3 times a week now and make cool, awesome characters, which we need to get to because we're going to run out of time.
This is true. We're already about 10 minutes in. Think about it. You're hanging out with an Arkansanian. What do you people call yourselves in Arkansas?
Arkansan.
Arkansans. You're hanging out with an Arkansan and a Floridian, making guys in tights, or armor, or anything else in between. And somehow it is not the strangest thing that I've ever said in my entire life.
All right. We are going to roll for our alignment with 1d6.
All right. Time to bring out the I got the good stuff. I got the goodsy.
My pen is drying up on me.
I got numero cuatro. By the handbook standards, the Roll for Hero Handbook that you can support now at GoMrFish.com or at the Kickstarter link in the description down below. In the confines of this handbook, I have acquired number 4, which is not so good. Ruh-roh.
And I got an evil character.
Are we already developing a villain and a hero?
Dragon Gaming says he's a Dakotanoid.
Okay, but first of all, I know that's probably a joke because I can't tell if that's an actual saying for those who live in Dakota or not, but that would be a hilarious alien race. I am a Dakotanoid. That would be funny.
All right. 1d6 for our motivation. I got a 4. I am an adventure seeker.
And I am motivation, right? I am bound by responsibility.
Ooh. All right. And now let's roll on down to our origin table with 4d6. That number again is 4.
4d6. Nice. Maybe you want
16. 16.
All right, that's going to be 8, 9, 10. 15! And I have sent to defend Earth. You're an alien with the powers of. Okay, so I got an alien design over here.
Ancient entity avatar.
Nope, responsibility.
All right. I'm chosen by an ancient entity to be their avatar on Earth with the powers of bum ba bum bum bum. Now we roll 2d6 to figure out our power set. I got 1 skill and 2 minor powers.
Hold on, we got LOL. I actually, the public domain world says I actually created a new hero today called Nonstop, who was a CIA agent, and the concept that he was injected by an unknown attacker, or that he was injected by an unknown attacker with an unknown drug, and now he basically he's living in an illusion. Oh, interesting indeed. All right, hold on. Now let me roll up my power sets over here. All right, that's going to be numero. Ooh, this is interesting. I rolled a tree. I got
2 skills and 1 minor power.
That's a first for me because I haven't really rolled many
today.
skills. I always tend to roll more powers than skills, so this is good.
All right. So now we need 3d6 to roll up our skills. Keep rolling.
And mind you, what we're currently utilizing, we're utilizing the prototype handbook. We're utilizing the prototype Roll for Hero Handbook. And to keep this into perspective, the Roll for Hero Handbook that you guys are going to be supporting is actually going to be advanced, filled to the brim with probably a lot more intriguing ideas and concepts and much more intricate, charts and tables that you guys can roll from. What we're doing is something, again, this is the first prototype of it. So what you guys are going to get is the more finalized product. So it's going to be great. Basically, Nonstop doesn't even know if he has powers, and his whole superhero thing is basically something that these hallucinations tell him. So he does not know if this is even true or just a lie. Oh, so he's like in a kind of like a Martian Manhunter situation, just going crazy everywhere. Absolute Martian Manhunter, should have specified. All right. Time for my skills. What do I have skill-wise? Realistically, probably not a lot. Anyways, got 3d6. What do we have? It's going to be 4 plus tree 7. Okay, Master of Disguise. Nope. Going crazy? Yes, I am.
Dakota Northerners and Dakota Southerners. Sodax or Nodax. That's interesting.
No taxes. Me too. I wish. Don't we all wish? I believe we can.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and go on to my minor powers.
All right. And I have essentially rolled my next skill, that being numero 5, a detective. And now for my one minor power, being. All right, got to skip over the major powers. Got the minor. Now I got to roll 5 whole D6s here. You know, I kind of remember chatting out, I remember I said an idea of like, since the Roll for Hero Handbook is primarily like, this is the prototype, but also I think it would be interesting if we did one with like advanced charts that would actually implement, you know, like D10s, D20s, and stuff like that. Because we're trying to make this very easily available for everyone with like, you know, that doesn't really have all those kind of crazy dice. So
yeah, it's a trade-off though. It's a tough one to figure out because you know a bunch of 6-sided dice isn't as equally fair across the entire spectrum of the numbers it can do as say 2 10-sided would be. But
I mean,
you know, it's a trade-off because they're easier to find. 11.
This is true.
8 is 19.
Well, I should go to I think now they're more available at the dollar store too. Remember finding a set at the Dollar Tree. We got 10, 15. I got 19 as my number from the minor power list, which is Power Mimic. Absorb and mimic the powers of anyone you touch. Okay, interesting.
And I got my skill is I'm a high-tech weapons designer, and I've got the powers of energy absorption and resistance to extreme heat. And now I am ready for the modifier. Where are you?
I'm at the modifier as
rolling
well.
up your mind powers. Oh, you ready? All right, let's do modifier.
Let's do the modifiers.
2d6.
Time to modify.
Well, that went right off the table.
I know. Don't you hate it when they do that? Got numero 6, which is major transformation. Interesting. Any of your powers until you trigger the major transformation into your superpowered form. Interesting. Honestly, I don't know if that actually fits with it. Like, it can. There's always a way. Hold on a second. So I think Uncle Lee is creating our.
Okay, that'll work.
Hold on, Bill. You think I'm creating the villain, not the hero?
Well, I got an evil character, so you know, could well be.
And then we got the public domain world saying. So I have a funny question. So imagine your own created superhero could get a movie or show. Which from your heroes would you like to see? Now, if we're talking about what we have rolled here on Roll for Hero, I personally think Jupiter Jack and Meteor Mandy, personally, just because we've actually developed their entire world for a whole season. We developed a lot of fun side characters, and I think there is a lot that could be shown in that world in particular. But obviously, we have our own characters that we've developed, and we would love for them to be TV shows and movies. Obviously, who wouldn't? But, you know, those are like, you know, our own companies, our own, you know, situations there. But yeah, that's more or less who it would be. Honestly, I think Jupiter Jack might be the case. Secondary might be a character I made called Dart, who is this poisonous dark frog character who can like change his body, which is really kind of cool. That's what I would do at least. All right. You know, I'm going to go for a different role here because I don't know about the major transformation part for me. All right, we got 9. Oof. Time's up. All right. You know what? I'm probably not gonna do the modifiers. It's either major
I'm trying.
transformation or time's up. So, you know, I guess the transformation would have to do. But also, it's like, okay, but then to use that.
I like what I've got. I'm just the part that's got me stuck yet right now is trying to figure out who the ancient entity is that has picked this character to be their avatar on Earth to help flavor what this is going to look like. Um, because it has to be something that would give them the ability to handle and wield high tech weaponry and energy absorption and resistance to extreme heat. And the power comes from an external device, which I like the idea of it coming from an external device. I'm thinking that's going to be like either an ancient temple designed to this cosmic being, or maybe an alien device that has been treated like, the center worship place in this temple, that's actually an alien device that connects to this cosmic or other dimensional being that gives you the power when it picks you to be its avatar on Earth. But my character is also evil. So it's not picking you to be a hero per se. Maybe it's picking you. Oh, okay. Maybe it's picking you to try and prepare the way and open the doorway so that he can come through into this world completely.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Like,
Bill had a really unique idea. What if you use the culture table, the ones that we did for season 3? Like maybe you can develop something from that, giving you the visual aesthetics.
that is a good idea.
Not a bad idea. Actually, let me pull that up because I'm the one that actually has that.
I was going to say, I don't actually have the images for
Where
that
you at?
saved on.
So I gotta find and release. Where are you at? There we go. Let me actually take all that out. Where did I just? This Pantheon inspiration. Which one was it? Class, occupation. All right, no, it's Pantheon inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
2d6.
2d6. You got
4 is Hindu.
Would you want to roll another one just in case, or you want to keep it at Hindu?
I'm gonna do a little looking around on the old interwebs and see what I can find for some inspiration, because I don't want to go off half cocked.
Yep. All right. And then for me, my character is an alien. That's the part that I kind of forgot about. And my character is an alien who has master disguise and then major transfer. Okay, you know what? I think I was probably overthinking it because he's a master disguise and has major transformation. And then on top of that, he is a detective. Interesting. So do I treat this like a Batman situation? Like a super powered Batman almost? Man, these are already rough for, well, I'm not gonna say it's rough for the first one. We clearly needed this table in the expansion. Thinking, Mr. Fish, what about new artificial god that wants to be completed?
See, that was my first thought. Was going in the direction of, almost a Cthulhu-like god that is, empowering an avatar on Earth, like giving Skeletor the power to try and be evil enough to open a portal that you could get through, kind of thing.
And then Bill also stated that we should probably have the culture list in the extended handbook. I mean, that also depends on maybe, like, honestly, I would say that would be very interesting for a fantasy pack more than anything else. Like, maybe we could.
I was also thinking it might be interesting to have some optional tables in there for, like, including this into the theme of your character, whether it be an animal motif or mechanical motif or a, you know, an element from a classic car or whatever, like, you know, maybe trying to have to, you know, include some of these different things into the motif of the design, that you have some stuff to try and spur the visual creativity a little bit, you know, not stuff that you would absolutely have to use, but definitely some stuff that could be fun to use.
Oh, for sure. You know, I'm gonna go for a bit of a lanky kind of guy, bit of a skinny boy.
An alternative god, want to redeem an evil character, so kind of an anti-hero. Oh, that could be cool.
And then maybe he has evil tendencies of like fighting crime. Again, kind of like I would say Punisher is a really good example. He's kind of like, he does mean well, but he does get very violent, which others could deem very evil because he does take the lives of criminals, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm also speaking generalistically. I feel like if somebody ever heard this, or if you clipped this notion of like, oh, the Punisher is just, you know, a good guy who has evil motives, and then from there, like, people are like, yeah, you really don't know the Punisher. And I'm like, I don't care. He was great in the movie.
Weapons, energy absorption, resistance to heat.
But yeah, I'm kind of thinking about my guy being a bit of a lanky boy, because I don't think I've drawn like super skinny-ish characters. I always tend to draw very like either buff, masculine, or somewhere within like the middle. I never tend to do them like thin.
Mm-hmm. That's why I really tried on the character design drawing pad to make sure that there were lots of different body types and sizes in there.
Which, by the way, if you want to unlock getting that entire drawing pad, make sure that we get the Kickstarter to hit up to 2K and above at GoMrFish.com.
Well, that would be to get a secondary drawing pad added in, because this one has both like action poses and stuff and character sheets in it. If we hit that 2,000, I'm going to separate those into 2 separate pads that'll be available. And so you can get one that's just action poses and one that's just a variety of character sheets in different sizes and stuff. And then at, I think, 3,000, we're going to do them as spiral bound notebooks, which would be really nice, because then you can get to exactly what you want when you want it.
And how you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want it that way. Tell me.
I really would love to find a way to do the old like Monster Maker drawing thing where you had like the different little tablets that had the legs and the torso and the head of all these different characters, and you could mix and mash it and then put a piece of paper over it and rub it with a crayon, and you would get the outline drawing of that character that you could color in. And you could mix like the reptile legs with the evil sorcerer's torso with an alien's head, or the superhero's torso with, you know, Wolfman's head, and, you know, whatever. And I would like to do a version of that that would give you different like action poses and stuff to be able to draw your characters off of.
Deadpool will be in here with the ideas, telling me that my character could be like a gumshoe detective with a gum body, you know, that lets him change. Hence why the major transformation and the master of disguise. Okay, I see what you got going on there. So my character's some kind of interstellar detective, probably having to stop, you know, some type of potential plot, or it has to thwart, you know, plans of an evil.
Not a thwarting.
Yeah, thwarting. Using words that I thought I'd never use. All right. But yeah, I think him going for like a skinny body could be very interesting. So I'm going to make him a little bit of a lanky guy. But then it's like interesting because a part of me wants to go the traditional like superhero route, giving him like a whole thing. Like, again, I kind of want to go Batman with it a little bit. But that's like his super suit design, but his powers are saying otherwise. But then he has a major transformation ability that he can only access, especially with the, oh, well, wait, he has power mimic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, this is interesting. See, the crazy thing is that I rolled this and I've never taken those parts into consideration until now. Oh, you got to love Roll for Hero, making you really question your ethics and your ability to think. Okay, so his major transformation, I feel like in order for him to access other powers, he would have to almost transform into that, like Mystique style a little bit. This is interesting. Because he can not shapeshift, but I mean, he's a master of disguise and he has major transformation. I do like the idea of that because it's not like shapeshifting is his power, but he is a master of disguise, meaning that he's probably used his major transformation for something else. Did I tell you about this? Your thought? Did I think if you meant to say, have you asked us about your thoughts on Avengers Doomsday? I saw the trailer when I was out watching Spider-Man. My wife, of course, did the typical, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it because she doesn't want to be spoiled of anything. And I'm like, I barely know what's probably going to happen in this movie, but okay.
I'm with High Wife. I don't like having it spoiled. They show me way more in the trailers than I want to know. Like I would have been way happier like being surprised that Mark Ruffalo was in Spider-Man than to like see him in the trailers and stuff. But that's me. I would have still gone to the movie. You didn't have to show me. But I like to be surprised.
This is true. Ah, man, I am very thrown off by this.
People are always like, oh, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to tell you this. I'm like, that's more than I want to know. No, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to tell you, when Rainbow Dash came out, I was surprised. I didn't want to know Rainbow Dash was in it.
Since when did Marvel have the legal rights?
Since all became one under Disney.
One nation under Disney. Old theme maybe, but what is your opinion on Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom? I'm extremely skeptical. Personally, same here. They definitely could have done something very, very different, but obviously they really want to. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Let's be honest. Spider-Man made a ton of money, and at this point, Marvel doesn't want to screw up any potential opportunity. So they're going to try to play it as safe as they possibly can. And I don't blame them for that. But also, it's like, I don't know. I'm a little bit
I hate
iffy
them
on
putting Robert Downey Jr. in it. I hate it. I think it's stupid. I think it's unnecessary. They might convince me with some crafty writing that it was a cool idea, but I don't see how they're going to do it right now. I think it was a dumb idea. And Doctor Doom is one of my favorite villains, and it makes me furious that it feels like they're going to drop the ball with him again because they don't want to let go of a popular star that they killed off.
Pretty much. And then not only that, I think they're going to try to tie him. This is theory. This is theoretical. I'm not talking about whatever's in the trailer. That's not what I'm stating at this point on. This is Uncle E's full-blown, theoretical concepts of what I think or the reasoning why they did what they did. So before, anything else, this is what I'm just stating. I think the only reason why they even have the characters in there, just so that they have, number one, yes, so that they can keep the main, theme going. Number two, there are ties to other characters. And again, I'm not trying to say much because I know some people may have seen the trailer, some haven't. But obviously, they're trying to create another personal drive. And we were personally connected to a lot of the other characters in Avengers Endgame, to all the other Avengers films that were shown. Unfortunately, the Fantastic Four was not shown in, obviously, the Avengers films. It would have been so different if it was. But I honestly think that, I don't know. I'm really skeptical about it. I feel like they really could have gone a different route. I think they should have made him a villain. Like, I think they could have done an entire spinoff series of Fantastic Four and introduced Doctor Doom by film 4. And I think that would have been more interesting. You know, having to deal with different threats, whether intergalactic, you know, street level, something to that extent, because they're a celebrity family, and Doctor Doom and Reed Richards are supposed to have that beef. That is my thoughts and opinions. What do you guys think?
I agree with public domain world. I think Robert Downey Jr. will do a good job because he's a great actor. I just hate the fact that they're doing that to Doctor Doom because it feels like they are. It feels like, and I don't know, but it feels like they're going to belittle him down to just an Iron Man variant, and instead of being, the long term regal king of Latveria that he should be. And that infuriates me. I want him to get his due because they have dropped the ball with him every single time, and I'm sick of it.
Sick of it. I am really thrown off by this right now because I want to do a classic superhero design, but the powers are saying otherwise.
I think to me, it sounds like you got the makings of a really cool, private detective. I mean,
yeah, I guess just because I was so in the mood, wanted to do a proper we're gonna do a comic book. I obviously wanted to do something superhero related. I guess I could.
There's all kinds of cool noir comic books and characters. The Shadow, the Spirit.
This is true. Okay.
Spider-Man Noir.
You're not wrong there. I think what would make this character interesting. Okay, you know what? That's not a bad take either, because honestly, I tend to forget that those other kind of characters exist. And ironically enough, I have been diving into pulp and public domain characters, which are just a bunch of pulp characters. So that's very telling of how much I know. There we go. Let me just. Although I do like the idea of him still being some very, a really skinny dude. I think that it's just really funny to me because I can imagine him taking down some beefed up maybe your character who might be a very evil executional hero with nothing more than grit, spit, and a whole lot of duct tape. He's an alien too. I think that's the part that's also throwing me off because I feel like the alien portion is what's really kind of getting to me. I could do the whole classic he was nope. Because again, he was sent to defend Earth. So can't do anything about that there. Biggest worries: Marvel panicked because of the lesser success of movies since Endgame and the disaster that happened with Kang. Now they're rushing into Doom too fast, so I'm skeptical. That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, validly so, because I mean, I'm not gonna. Here's their biggest problem, in my opinion. They focused too much on TV shows. They focused too much on shooting way too many projects that are out there. Don't get me wrong. I can imagine Daredevil Warning It was really good. I can imagine it was because I haven't seen a lot of these shows. She-Hulk, not so good, but I heard that, it has its fans.
She-Hulk was good. I mean, the only problem with She-Hulk was it had a female lead, and that's, Upset-a-Hulk was good. I mean, and if you were one of the few people that's a gigantic fan of the Wrecking Crew, seeing them nerfed down to a handful of goobers might hurt your feelings, but I think those 4 people can get over it that were major Wrecking Crew fans.
Yeah. And then not only that, but I'm primarily just stating that in general, I think the concept of I think the reason why it's not doing so hot is because now people feel like they have to do homework. That's ultimately my take on that, because think of it this way: back then, phase 1, phase 2, you were just watching movies. You were going to the theaters, everyone was getting caught up because everyone was going to watch the movie, and the movies had everything that was in the movies. Because again, we saw Iron Man, we saw, Thor, we saw, Captain America, and all the other characters that have been developed in each of those films, leading to Avengers. So, of course, we had the connection of these characters. Problem is that we have way too many shows that not everyone is going to watch. Because, again, you need a Disney Plus subscription, and not everyone has a Disney Plus subscription. And, like, for instance, I would have rather them made a Moon Knight movie rather than a Moon Knight show, because at that point, the entirety of the show was just a 6-hour long movie. That's all it really was. I feel like you could have taken down a lot of it and then just had your Moon Knight, thing there.
Yeah, but a lot of them, I think they don't really have. I don't think they have the draw power on a lot of those properties to get people in the seats for a Moon Knight movie with nothing else to sell it on other than, what you could stick in a trailer. Because most people don't know Moon Knight unless you introduce them to him. So I see why they're doing it, and it's easier and it's cheaper and whatnot. But I don't know. There's a lot of problems with it, in my opinion. They're trying to do too much. They're not taking some of it seriously enough. And
Ow, my arm. Ugh, bad day to work out yesterday because now my arm is killing me. All right.
Hi, wife.
hi, wife.
Hi, honey.
Peace. Mwah. I love you more.
No, what the? Yay!
She told you.
Women, am I right? All right. Got 1, 2, 3. Arms. Four, 5, 6, and we have the number after 6. All right, meaning, why did I put it down? I was actually looking on the animal table. All right, so we got
Get in a room. This is a family-friendly show, says Eddie Von B. I'm telling you, man. I told him the one thing, keep it PG. What does he do? He starts smooching pretty girls.
It's not my wife. It's not my fault. My wife is, infatuated with me.
We're
Why
about
is she?
muscly
That is still
men
a
in their
mystery till this
underwear.
day.
That's what we're
Not
about.
my fault. You got a cute butt.
Hey, yo, hold on. Hey. I can't tell if there are children in this stream or not.
Eddie.
6, 12, 18, 23.
Little Kyron can't be more than 60 years old. He's just a pup.
Nope, not even a bug would work in this case. Well, I mean, could a stag be able to work? No. Well, no. So that really would defeat the purpose of the power making ability. Okay, because I'm trying to figure out how to design this guy because he's an alien. I'm being so thrown off by this right now. Because again, he's an alien. And he can mimic others' powers once he does like a whole transformation bit. So I kind of feel like he would almost go like Martian, I think it would be interesting that he would look like, different people here and there, have very few disguises until eventually he needs to actually like copy someone's ability.
See, I'm thinking you got it nailed right there. He's an alien PI sneaking around, a bit of a telepath, and can mimic people's looks and powers.
Then I feel like I shouldn't do so much. How about an alien slime guy named Thwarton who can disguise himself to look like anyone and mimics powers to solve crimes, thwart villains' plans? Okay, Dragon Gaming. You shooting ideas here. Some solid concepts for sure. How dare you?
I think I want to come here and go up and make a wrestling belt.
I guess I'm just trying to also
Yeah.
figure out, like, what would his suit look like? Like, should he just wear average clothes, or should he have like his own definitive suit?
I think he should be a dude in a trench coat that's an alien. Keep it loose and human, like, so that he could easily mimic, because he's got what, master of disguise? Yeah. So he's got regular human clothes, so he can easily look like regular humans and blend in.
I'm just gonna give him like a basic sweater, just to, because I feel like that is as average as you can get. It's a universal look more than anything else. And I mean, worst case scenario, he would just have to switch his overall, clothing. So not much in terms of the design department. Not what I was expecting. Then again, who knows? This show has always thrown me off my game. Yes, trench coat, says Bill. You can't go wrong with the trench coat either. You know what? I'm going to steal Dragon Gaming's idea for sure. I think that... You know what? Yeah, I was kind of going up. Yes, my love.
Sorry, I want to ask. I'm gonna roast that meat in the oven.
Cool.
Do you want it medium, rare?
Unlike you, I have an immune system, so have at it.
I'm asking which one you want because you're the one eating it.
Medium rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love you more.
No, you don't. Female. I love my wife for the sake of legality. My wife and I are in a really good relationship.
Just as a disclaimer, I do actually like the female.
I went on a knee.
Yeah,
Mind you, my knees are screwed up right now. I popped a knee. And then I was like, oh, you have to marry me. Oh, what was that? And then she said yes, and now I'm here.
Call him Sweet Tooth and make him obsessed with earth treats.
That would be funny. I'm not gonna lie, I liked the Ditto idea a little bit. That's why I decided to like make his face a bit plain looking, because then it would actually allow him to like morph and look like whatever. And then when you can then see what his true alien form looks like by just the little dots in the eyes and like a simple little smile, like Lego minifigure face type stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. I lost the comment and all the other stuff here. Trying to go down through the other comment. The comment
Majin Buu style, almost.
thing on the sides here.
Public
Domain World says, give the alien dude a fedora. Private detectives always need a fedora, which would also go good into trying to blend in and trying to, like, hide your alienness, to cover as much of the face as possible. Ben says, wife keeps bursting in, not being completely ignored. Let's see. Kyron, blink twice if you're being abused, Eve.
I am fine. She bites me once in a while. And that is not because she's mad at me. It's just apparently love aggression. Which apparently is a thing, so.
Kill aggression. Go aggression.
Apparently that's also the reason why moms can't be around their babies when they're first born, because they're going to suffer through, cuteness aggression, almost, have at them.
All right.
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to give him like a classic suit tie kind of thing. I think the idea of him wearing like a classic trench coat, you know what? Better yet, what trench coat color hasn't been used? And then I feel like we can go there. Because we have Dick Tracy with the yellow. We have the Question in the blue. We got Carmen Sandiego with the red, if we're talking in terms of like, mysterious kind of people. But Carmen Sandiego is a thief, not a detective. So I feel like we got to try a different color for the trench coat because that will make him like it'll give him his like definitive look. It's like, oh, it's Detective so and so from that planet, and he was probably watching a lot of detective films or something like that. And he's like, I like this, but also I can't do the suit and tie because it messes with my shape shifting and a sweat.
Everyone who wears a fedora and trench coat looks immediately cool, even the most ugly character when they wear it. What if the actual alien doesn't really have facial features, so no one knows what he looks like, and since he can change, so kind of like Darkman, like he just changes to look like whoever, but doesn't have a look of his own. Dragon Gaming says purple trench coat. I'm wondering green.
I was thinking green too, oddly enough.
And then that way the green alien color could be in the trench coat, and he could be a little more subdued inside that trench coat. And then
Now, mind you, I'm designing this character as if I'm going to use this as a reference sheet for our like Roll for Hero style comic. That's why I tend to design characters on a very symmetrical level, just because it's always easy to look at that and be like, all right, so this goes here, that goes there. Very easy to understand. That's why I design most of the characters like that, all throughout Roll for Hero. Because again, if I'm deciding to turn it into a comic, I want it to just be a simple standing pose. Sure, a nice, action pose here and there is always nice, but what if they have like a key feature, on one of their, on some part of their body, or, say that they have like a robotic arm. You want to kind of make that more prevalent, but you don't want it to hide away the other features. That's why I tend to draw my characters very symmetrically. So that's why green feels like Green Hornet. Oof. You got me there. Got me there. All right, so I'm going to design at least.
and I didn't think of Green Hornet, but
Then again, I don't think anyone really thinks of Green Hornet unless they're thinking about the crappy Seth Rogen movie. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Our trench, like, what kind of trench coat, too? Because I realize that there's also, like, short ones and long ones kind of a deal. Are there? Maybe? I don't know.
I mean, there's overcoats and there's trench coats, and I mean, I don't know what officially makes one thing one and not the other. I used to have an actual overcoat of my stepdad's from like the 40s that I freaking loved. That thing was so heavy and thick, and it was so calming on my nervous system.
Kind of almost, I could go for, like, a Rorschach vibe. Like, almost close to that. Not a full trench coat. Got at least the pants kind of going on there. But then again, I do like to draw a nice wavy trench coat. So who knows? Who knows? What if the coat helps him blend in with surroundings like a chameleon? Okay. Not a bad idea. Interesting. Chameleon. Am I thinking about a chameleon as the aesthetic of said animal? Potentially. Then again, I tend to forget that the chameleon was also the Spider-Man villain too. Guy looks like almost anyone.
And there again, he could mimic a lot of people's powers just with tech and gear.
This is true.
He mimics Spider-Man all the time with like suction cup gloves and guns that shot glue covered string and stuff like that.
I think that could be an interesting factor there. Getting there, getting there. Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere. All right. There we go. You know what? He is a reptilian-based detective who utilizes the chameleon's-based abilities of camouflage. But because it's a more super-powered concept, we can say that he would actually have to, like, transform into, maybe it's like a rarity. Maybe he's like a one-of-a-kind where in order for him to fully, like, embrace someone else's powers and abilities, he would actually have to look like them physically. So, like, say, for instance, he would actually, like, end up touching, your character, and all of a sudden he'll look like who's underneath the mask and actually have their powers.
That could be cool. Oh, that could actually be really cool if, like, this dude is secretly leading this, like, cult of bad dudes and, like, trying to commit crimes and stuff to get enough artifacts together to be able to, summon this cosmic being. And I'm almost thinking of, like, also being like a charismatic evil leader, like that bad dude on Legend of Korra behind the mask, be like that kind of character that that's getting a following, even if it sounds like it's a bad thing to other people, bring destruction and, tear the system down and start over from scratch with a, cosmic overlord would have to be better than what we're living in now kind of attitude. So let's burn it down.
We will live in a new Genesis.
Sweeping people up into this idea. Like, I was always fascinated with the idea of, like, who would join Cobra? Like, how do you actually get people to sign up and do that? That kind of thing has always been fascinating to me. Thinking about those stories.
That is,
or like, how bad does life have to be for, like, what, let's risk our life taking on, this super powered international paramilitary group, and be labeled international terrorists, because it's got to be better than what we're living in now. Or, that's got to be a heck of a dental plan if you're willing to
for
risk
real.
it all.
No, you kidding me? Health, dental, life insurance.
Yeah. Oh no, we cover the wife and kids too. Okay, yeah, I'm sold.
It's like, well, we could give them the
Cobra!
opportunity of a lifetime. We could grant them a potential opportunity, one that maybe your current government may not be suited for. Work with me, and I can help thee.
There's just a whole, like, Cobra HMO of, all doctors and dentists and stuff that all got recruited to, that all work for Cobra. They're like, fill out these forms and have a seat in the waiting room. Cobra!
Cobra!
Just be like, Cobra, yeah. All right. Can I reschedule my appointment for next week? We don't have any openings next week. Cobra!
This actually looks a lot like a detective I actually drew in one of my sketchbooks. If I can, I think it would actually kind of check out a little bit in this guy's case. I feel like he would definitely wear a lot more baggier clothes in the off chance he would actually end up shapeshifting into a brute. Like, unfortunately, he doesn't shapeshift like unfortunately, whoever he shapeshifts into doesn't, or what's it called? His clothes can't shapeshift with him. So like maybe he would have to wear like really baggy clothes in the off chance.
Mm-hmm. I could totally see that. See, I like thinking that stuff through. That stuff's fun for me. What do you have to think about when you're potentially going to be, changing shape and gender and height and all that stuff? Like, what kind of concerns do you have to think about? How do you plan for that? I think like a trench coat and fedora button-up shirt would be like about the safest route, layered with like a t-shirt underneath that you could change into, or unbutton that shirt if you got too big. But that could work on a lot of different forms. Don't tuck the shirt in so that if you grow taller, it can stretch with you. And
There we go. Never thought I would have drawn a trench coat, fedora wearing alien. I can genuinely see this guy actually working in my world for the grub and like power core and stuff like that. Just because of how weird the world truly has gotten. So I actually finally managed to make a page for the book talking about this huge cosmic event, the Great Collide. So it merged many worlds together. So now there's actually like decent excuses to create up, like fictional cities, fictional nations, and like, other parts of the world that may be secret, or, like like if I had to come up with my own Themyscira, Atlantis, whatever. So at least now I have like a logical excuse for that. But this would also means that also means I can create like a fictional city that would also have like, spies, espionage, or different countries that would actually, revolve around like being part of this world and whatnot. So I can definitely see that like maybe there is this alien detective who comes down utilizing his detective like skills and his shapeshifting abilities. And I can imagine he would encounter so many crazy kind of people, like maybe he encounters like a cyborg, and maybe he gets to really, see what he looks like underneath whenever he got to physically touch him, being like, oh shoot, you look like this. Or maybe, having like a high ranking authority. Again, his major transformation powers only unlock depending on who he's touching, hence the power mimic.
Let's see. Benjamin says, I could see Mr. E's alien getting captured by the SCP Foundation easily. Benjamin says, imagine making a story where the villainous character going after the series creator and trying to kill them, but they also kill themselves in the process. What are your thoughts on Funko Pops? Ask Archive Man. And Bill says, perhaps that could be the role for Hero's story, one hero's journey into the Great Collide. Ooh, that could be cool.
Could be interesting for sure.
That could really be cool. I'm really liking this character. I'm liking the idea of him being like an armor wearing Doctor Doomish cult leader guy who his high tech armor is a manifestation of the ancient being that has empowered him to try and break through the dimensional walls and free him. And he gets all this power and strength and ability to be a conduit for all these energies and to redirect them, but it's only to serve this master, and I could see some really fun ideas with his frustration and anger at wanting to be the powerful one, not wanting to only be the powerful one in so much as you are somebody else's lackey,
There we go. Just how to make his trench coat a little bit baggier in the off chance he would have to, shapeshift into somebody who is a lot bigger than him.
Could happen. He might have to shapeshift into an Uncle Fish. He's bigger than most.
All right. Okay. Now we kind of got something going on here. And then we're just going to give him some over-exaggerated big boots. So he looks like he's wearing a whole thing.
He's got big what now?
Big boots.
Big boots.
I got to be careful.
Boots and spurs and boots and spurs.
There we go. Boom. There we go. Should definitely make that look more flowy then. Well, I mean, I should want to show it off the baggy pants. He's wearing a lot of baggy clothing. For a detective, you sure do wear a lot of baggy clothing. Is there a reason for that? No, not at all, officer.
More room to fit clues in my pockets. Ah, yes, the pocket clues.
Introducing smooth jazz. into
Makes
the mix here.
sense. The clues you put in your pocket. The pocket clues.
Pocket clues. And because he's an alien, I always think it could be interesting. You know what? How many would be it would be annoying if I had to be very intricate with it, but I can see him having more than the usual amount of fingers. You know, because I can imagine like he would have like 6 fingers on each hand and he'll have to hide the extra thumbs.
That would be such a pain to have to draw.
Oh, for sure. But then it's like the guy got 2 thumbs, meaning that he has like extra security holding his phone in his hand.
Just means he fumbled it twice as hard.
Oh, yeah.
Means when he dropped it and tried to catch it, he threw it all the way across the house.
And we're just going to do these kind of pockets. Okay.
Nothing makes me feel stupider than dropping my phone and then trying to catch it and halfway down just yeeting it across the house.
Generally, I get that. That's like one of the weirdest experiences ever. All right, let me actually make that collar of his way big.
Ben says, so this armored cult leader would want to absorb or merge himself with the entity giving him his powers. I think he really wants to siphon off this entity's power. He wants to use it here as long as he possibly can without opening the portal all the way. But he has to, like in this deal, he has to keep doing certain things and he has to keep the portal open enough that he can get the power that he needs to be powerful. But, you know, if he opens it all the way, then he goes to being a groveling dog at the feet of his master, and he doesn't want that. I think that could be a really interesting character, kind of like when they made Skeletor like Hordak's apprentice, and everything he was doing was in service to Hordak. But as long as Hordak's not there, he can be a big shot and, you know, act all self-important and make it all about him. So it's all about, you know, keeping up appearances that we're doing, you know, I'm doing exactly what you asked me to do, but I'm not actually like opening the portal all the way for you to get through, because if that happens, then I'm not the big shot anymore. And,
or, you know, kind of like how Starscream will take every opportunity to become the leader of the Decepticons.
oh yeah.
But yeah, as soon as Megatron kicks in, he's like, "Yeah, yes, my liege." There we go.
I have been following some new writers on like Instagram and TikTok, and been getting some really neat lessons in thinking about things in different ways. Like this one guy has been harping on show don't tell for a long time, and really going into show don't tell isn't just show us what's happening and don't say it in words, but it's like how you really tell us who they are, by the stuff that they won't say out loud. Or like he gave this one really great example of, this husband and wife go to a party, and the whole time the husband just cannot take his eyes off his wife. And all he can talk about the entire party is how lucky he is to be with her and what a special woman she is. And she's the most amazing mom. And, he was so blessed when he met her. And at one point, he's just so smitten with her that he stops everything and, makes this huge toast to her and what a blessing she is. And she's made his life complete. And he doesn't know where he would be without her, blah, blah, blah. And they go home holding hands, smooching. He gets her home like, okay, I'm going to go take the trash out. And then, he takes the trash out to the end of the road, and then he walks up the block a little bit and spends 20 minutes on a secret phone he pulls out of his pocket on dating apps, messaging other girls that he just matched with. And then he goes back home and gets in bed with his wife and, kisses her goodnight and everything. And they have a beautiful, night's sleep together. And that tells you so much about him without, having to come out just outright and say, like, Tony seemed like the perfect husband, but he was actually a cheating piece of crap. It shows you by his actions, like the things he does when nobody else is around, nobody else is looking, giving you this real insight to who they are when they're not bouncing off of somebody else or keeping up appearances for somebody else. And like he said in his example, he may not even be keeping up appearances. He may dearly love his wife and may truly believe everything that he said, and really feel like the most blessed man in the world for having her by his side. But that still doesn't stop him from, for whatever reason, going out and trying to find external validation elsewhere, for whatever reason, whether it be an addiction or, trauma or whatever. But it's been eye-opening to see people talking about concepts that, I know and I've heard explained 100 times, but hearing new people explain it from their point of view with interesting new examples has been like getting these lessons all over again, which is what I'm hoping eventually some of these Roll for Hero backer only streams may be for people, because I'm going to turn around and make these available for other people to watch down the road. They're just going to be backer only when they're live. So if you want to join in the comments, like Benjamin and Dadpool and Kyron and Eddie and Bill and Archive Man and everybody else, you'll have to, go to the Kickstarter and support the campaign for at least $5 and come hang out with us. But eventually I'm going to turn around and make those public so that people can still get the lessons and learn from the questions that y'all ask in the comments as we're laying out pages and penciling and inking and lettering and all that stuff.
Which you can support now on GoMrFish.com.
Indeed.
And then we got Benjamin saying, if my character was to essentially mimic your character's powers, would that essentially break the contract?
What, my guy?
Yeah. Since your powers are coming from an all-powerful being, and since I can mimic the powers of whoever the character touches, it's like, would the contract break, or like, would there be a point of confliction?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would depend on how your guy's powers work.
This is true.
Like if he mimics, like say if he mimics the actual like mutated cells in your DNA that let Cyclops open up a portal to the punch dimension in his eyes and shoot, force blasts out. If he mimics that like biological change in you, that would be one thing. But could he mimic, say, Doctor Strange's powers? Because that comes from magical knowledge. Like, how does his mimicking power work? Is he mimicking the actual physical things that are a part of them, or is he telepathically mimicking their skills and abilities? Or because I mean, this would be sort of like, I would think, like a warlock's contract with his higher power or whatever that's empowering him to do this. So I don't know. Would that be transferable with a power mimic?
I mean, I don't know. I think in this guy's case, just because I want to try to keep it really simplistic, I think it would have to be more like the mutated cells concept.
Yeah.
Where like I think he'll more or less copy the full blown like effect of your powers. And by that I mean I would say more like a general baseline. Like if he was to copy Spider-Man's powers, he would get Spider-Man's powers and only his powers, like the web shooting, climbing on walls, the spider sense. Like I feel like generally kind of like that. If he was to get Wolverine, like if he tapped onto Wolverine, he would get his, his claws, his healing factors, all of that. I think he would almost become a one-to-one genetically. If you're talking about like a magical thing, I think if he had a weakness, it would definitely be like magic, because that is something that is either learned or something that is obtained, whether you're like a warlock or by birth. And birth is I think that one's like the fine line kind of a thing, because you could try to put a scientific twist on that. But ultimately, I think magic is where his cutoff is. Like he can do, genetics. He can copy, if you were from like this type of thing, that kind of thing. But once magic is in the mix, he can't fully, like tap into that, because now he's like, I can't touch onto that. I can't latch onto magic. That's a whole different metric of scales and powers that I'm not really, like able to tap into. And then we got Public Domain World saying, I don't know if my question is kind of dumb, but is there any hero who can shapeshift into a different person or pretend to be one? I mean, most heroes with these powers are either shapeshift into creatures. Martian Manhunter, I think, is the best hero that kind of fits that description, because he's literally, he's a Martian. He's just kind of hanging in the watchtower doing his thing. But when he's like on the ground, he'll literally shapeshift into just about anyone.
He can go into like a complete mimic of Clark or Superman or Flash or whatever. Like he can mimic them at nearly, and I think if I remember right, he can go all the way down to the blood cell, because that's how they gave Beast Boy's powers in Young Justice, was McGann's blood cells. She changed herself down to be able to donate blood to him when he was in that accident, but it still transmuted some of her alien ability to transform to him. Is Super Skrull chopped liver? Asked Benjamin. He's thwarting the villain's plans just by existing. Ben says, my character Nightwave's shadow manipulation abilities is generational, an ability that comes from his mother's family, so Mr. E's character could tap into that power. I can look like Doctor Strange, but I can't cast magic like him. Yeah. See, that's where I would think, if you were like mimicking their genetic code and what they could do, like if you mimicked Superman, then your cells would be able to absorb solar energy and whatnot, and you could do the stuff that he could do. Maybe you have control over it like he does. Maybe you have to learn. I don't know. That's where you get to play around and do that for your own character. But like I say, for me, it would be like if you mimic Doctor Strange, then you would just be mimicking a guy who looks like him, and but without the years of study and practice, it wouldn't really like. You could mimic Batman and be a guy in really good shape, but would you have all of his athletic abilities and stuff if you didn't have a telepathic link or something to copy all that? Like it totally depends on what you're mimicking,
This is true.
like Mimic, I don't think would be able to get all Batman's skills because it's not like a mutation.
This is true.
But Taskmaster, all he's got to do is see it, and then he can do it.
All right, and
Which is why Taskmaster rules and everybody else drools. That's what I
I
say.
mean, unless you're Deadpool or Moon Knight.
No, I still say it. Taskmaster's my favorite.
There we go.
His photographic reflexes are da bomb, as the kids say. And all the kids say it. I've heard Bill say it hundreds of times. Query, is mimic powers a minor because you don't have the knowledge to use those powers? And again, these are colors of paint. You can do whatever you want with it, however you find it most fun to use it. I like the idea personally of like if I have a character that can mimic powers, like we had a dude that can mimic powers in my role-playing game, and he would absolutely get their powers, but he got like the first level version of their powers. And he had to figure it out because he wasn't innately born with it. So he had to like figure out how to grow and shrink or whatever when he mimicked that power off of somebody. And he would just get it randomly from people around him and not necessarily know who it came from, because he could mimic every power within like 50 feet of him. And so it could be anybody in this room that has the power to grow and shrink if he doesn't know who has that ability. And he's never done it before. So every time he had to roll to see how well he did at it. And did he like hit the height he was going for, or did he shoot past it and blow out the roof of the house, or, whatever. But that's the way I like doing it, because that was fun for us, and it was fun for him to have to try and figure it out and everything, rather than just instantly be, a master at it. But again, he wasn't like a Martian Manhunter and a telepath to have all those extra skills to be able to not only mimic the ability itself, but the knowledge of how to do it. Could you mimic Wonder Woman's powers? That's a good question.
I would say, like for this character's case, probably not, because this is where like it's the fine line of like the magic with the genetics, because she is like magically made on Themyscira, tied to the Greek gods. And I feel like, again, that's like if he had to look at it from a scientific perspective, that is a level of science that he can't apprehend to. So like my character in particular might do a Kryptonian, but he can't do an Amazonian. He could do maybe an Atlantean, but he can't do whatever Adam Warlock is. Maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway.
And like,
you want to say, like,
I could see, like, if I was writing the guy, I could see an explanation, like, you have to understand, like when it comes to flight or invulnerability or something, those are things that I understand. Those are things that make sense. Those are things that work frontwards and back like mathematics do. I know how to mimic those things and to make that work. But once you get into magic, we are, like, I know how to swim, but you're talking about swimming in the deepest ocean in the middle of a hurricane in a whirlpool. Like I can't handle that kind of power. That's too chaotic. That doesn't follow the rules that, that I understand. And I'm not jumping in that depth of that water because I'm going to drown if I do that. And so I'm sticking to the waters that I know how to swim in.
And I will agree with these notions.
Let's see. But we're a couple behind on the things here. Public Domain said, I have a villain who is a master of disguise, and while not really a shapeshifter, he's a master of pretending to be different people. He even pretends to be a gang leader of different gangs. Ben says, also Mr. E's character being in the world of the Grub, because it would be interesting to see him mimic the Grub's powers, but funny if he mimicked the hand heads.
Oh my god, that's true, because he could shapeshift his head into a hand.
Public Domain says the villain's name is Mr. Mimic. I think the coolest would be the design where I had the idea he would wear a mask like the Phantom of the Opera mask or any other mask based on a theatric performance. Eddie says mimics are limited. For example, a mimic could mimic Thor, but wouldn't be able to lift Mjolnir, right? Yeah. Deadpool says Black Hole Hornet, evil, sense of justice, mutant hornet, espionage, control gravity. Powers are slowly killing it. Ooh, that sounds like an awesome character, man. Wonder Woman would be an extremely tough Amazon, but not the godly powers. Yeah, I could see mimicking that. Or if you go the one route with her story, like it would be funny if he goes to mimic Wonder Woman and just ends up as like a clay statue, because like that's what her parents sculpted.
That's true. She
like at the core, that's what she was below it all. That would be hilarious.
There we go. Now I'm just kind of adding some extra little shading bits here and there. But yeah, that's more or less my guy. He is.
Somebody else has been talking and not color.
There we go. Sorry, I've been kind of.
I blame Hi Wife.
Yeah, wife. Hey, Fish, blame you, not me.
Oh, I thought he said his wife.
No. I'm too smart to do that. I'm blaming the one way over in Florida.
Throw me under the bus, why don't
She
you?
hit me from there.
What I did.
This is because.
Try mimicking multiple powers at the same time. That means you would have to come into contact with multiple other forms of, superpowered people. I think given the world that he's, or like maybe the section of the world that he's a part of, I think it would have to be almost like borderline one at a time kind of a deal. Like he can only do so much until eventually he like reaches a point of like, okay, I gotta cool off kind of a deal.
Okay, so question.
Answer.
What if he mimics somebody that had like, two major powers and two minor powers? Would he be able to mimic all of those at once, or would he have to pick and choose what he can do?
Oh, that's a good one.
At one time.
I think, I probably should.
Or would he just get one with each touch and have to try again?
Well, then again,
that would be an interesting limitation.
That would, because then that means that.
Oh my God. Could you imagine, like, if you were like, what's his name? The Leech? Or what? The dude that sucks the powers out of Superman.
Parasite.
Oh, yeah, Parasite. Okay. Could you imagine if you were the Parasite and like every time you grabbed Superman, you could take one power off of him, but that was the only one you were getting. So like you could fly, but you're not invulnerable. Or you could be super strong, but you're not invulnerable and you can't fly and you can't shoot laser beams. Or, you get the freeze breath, but you don't get the indestructible lips to go with it, so you don't freeze your face off in the process. Or like that would be wild to be like, okay, I'm going to go fly around for a while and then have to go all the way back home to where you keep Superman chained up to get the next set of powers. That would be crazy.
But then that also means that could also be a bit of a broken ability too, because this means that you can objectively not be weakened by kryptonite if you were to say take his powers.
Oh yeah.
Because you only have one of his powers, not all of it. Maybe in order to be weakened by like their supposed thing, you would have to like embody the whole character, like the whole person. So like if my character was to embody all of Superman, he would literally need to like he would have to focus. I think it would also be like training, kind of like how you would have to train your body. Maybe that there are others like him that train and can apprehend many abilities at the same time. And that could also make him look like a mutant freak of some kind. Like imagine if he ended up, tapping into Spider-Man and Cyclops and Wolverine. And if he really honed in his skills, he could have at bet, like again, if he was to lock in, super train himself, he would have the ability to full blown like shoot lasers out of his eyes, climbing on walls, shooting webs, and then slicing people up with a healing factor and then the claws and everything. He could be like the ultimate like scary amalgamation of everything. Like I think eventually, I feel like if I had a different like taking this exact concept, and if he was to like copy multiple powers at the same time, I would actually call the character Amalgam, because he would be able to amalgamate all the powers from other people. But I have a lizard detective man, so that is all I got.
That would be maybe a cool character to come in contact with in his world, like somebody else from his world or a bad guy from his world that he finds out is here and is taking powers from people and is way better at it than he is. And oh man, like Heroes, when you had the kid that could mimic people's powers, but then you had the bad guy that was like cutting them out of people's heads and could keep them all permanently. And this kid could only do one at one time. Oh man, I have a villain who is named Anyone. He has super speed, master disguise, and mimics people's voices perfectly. He uses his speed to quick change his clothes, I'm guessing, and his phrase is, "I'm anyone, anytime, anywhere." Ooh, that's cool. Man, I never thought I'd see somebody getting shot live, but hey, you are alive. I guess superpowers does exist in the real world.
Because my wife just did the finger gun on my face.
Dadpool says, "Fish, what are you calling him?" I don't know. I have not decided. I haven't had a Dadpool or a Dragon Game and yell out some really cool ideas yet.
So your guy is that basically apprehending powers from another being, right? Warlock style.
Yeah. And like I almost think like something grandiose sounding would be cool. Something like obnoxious, like Lord Domino's, or like.
Does he out pizza the Hut?
Nobody out pizzas the Hut.
Except for Lord Domino's. I think even just simple one word names too, like he could be called Dominion. For I am Dominion. I am power. I am. Like he has that kind of vibe going for him.
Yeah, he definitely needs that like grandiose, bigger than life kind of vibe to him. Whether he really is or not, he needs that obnoxiousness to him.
Okay, here's what I'm shooting. Embrose. Because I see the fire, so I can like Ember or like Brimstone, something along the lines of that. Or Brimlock.
Okay, to answer the question earlier, Dadpool, his abilities are he is this ancient entity's avatar on Earth that he's picked to open a portal to let this ancient cosmic god out into our world to destroy it and rule. And he's given him this high-tech weaponry and this suit of armor, and he's fireproof and can absorb energy and redirect it. And all of his power comes from some giant external device, which I'm saying is a portal that is cracked open in this temple to this ancient god in this like lost temple in the middle of nowhere that he found on like an architectural dig or something. And it, he agreed to be the avatar for this thing, and it gave him all this power, and now he's gone mad with power and wants to control the world. But if he actually lets the thing through, then he knows he loses everything. So
I would
he
say
doesn't-
like, okay, Hellbound. I don't know why that name kind of, it's like I'm Hellbound, but that sounds worse because he's trying to like be grandiose. He's trying to be bigger than that. He's not trying to be bound. He's trying to bound.
Yeah. Like Dominion is a cool name. I think something like that makes him sound like he is the lord of everything when he's really not. At best, he's going to be a lapdog.
I think Dominion, I think, could be the closest thing to have to like Doom. You know, you have Doom, Dominion, like the vibe of the characters being powerful over someone else.
Yeah, like I love the idea of him wanting to be like a Doctor Doom, but he's never going to have that self-made power. He's never going to be able to do anything on his own. Catalyst the Chosen, Deal Breaker. How about Pact Maker? That's not bad. The Extreme. He marks his followers. Portal Bringer. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. Maybe something like Keystone or
what are they called? Oh, Herald? Like maybe like a herald of some kind? Ember Herald? No, too many words.
Yeah, Lord Dominus, that absolutely is from Jupiter Jack's world. But like I was thinking like an obnoxious sounding name like that, like something that is like
King Dominion?
Yeah, something like that. But
no, because dang it, Lord Dominus was so good. What's another? What's like
something like Portal or
what's another royalty term? Duke Dominion,
Keystone, or
that's what I got.
That might.
Or hold on, Dragon Gamer says Soulbinder.
Soulbinder's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh my goodness gracious! Comics Vault comes busting in with
working on a story about a mysterious signal that awakens an ancient alien fleet hidden beyond the moon. Within hours, collision biochemical ships descend over Earth, blacking out the sky. As cities fall, an unlikely team of survivors discover that invaders aren't searching for humanity. They're hunting a forgotten cosmic artifact buried beneath the planet's surface. Dang it, I'm like losing it here.
Let's see. Artifact buried beneath the planet's surface, armed with the experimental technology and impossible courage, they race to reach the artifact first, knowing that if the aliens claim it, Earth will become the first conquest in a galaxy-wide empire. The final battle begins as hope flickers against an unstoppable invasion. That sounds awesome. Lord Firebrand is a cool Hellgate.
Ooh.
Okay, Hellgate is not a bad one.
Ooh.
Hellgate's not bad at all.
What's like a... Because when I heard Conquest, I was thinking automatically like the character from Invincible. So I feel like another terminology for that.
I was going to say Cinder. Like burn the world to a cinder kind of thing. But man, Hellgate is a good one. How about Voidbound? It hints at their reliance on the external power bound to the void while sounding epic and mysterious.
I like that, but I still think Bound makes him sound like he's a pawn in someone else's.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. And he is, but would he go around announcing that? Like
I'm hellbound. No, because then it sounds like, like imagine saying I'm hellbound.
Yeah,
no. Firegate is a good one. I don't know why I'm thinking Brimstone, Embergate.
Asunder.
Asunder. Yes, it is. What's it?
Okay, I'm thinking something like Asunder the Gate Herald or something like that. Like like
Okay, wait,
a
wait. Asunder, the Ember Herald. It still sounds vaguely similar to it. I am Asunder, the Ember Herald. Like it gives him that sense of dominion, still keeping the fact that he's a pawn, but at the same time, like has that Doctor Doom kind of vibe, like the Warlock Doctor Doom. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking there. Lord Asunder, Herald of the Ember Gate.
I don't know. Hellgate might be the way to go. I don't know. I'm torn, but I'm liking where we're headed.
I do too. I do too.
And I think it could be really, I mean, he could make for a really cool story right there.
I think that right there,
you
I'm
know,
not gonna
for
lie,
somebody to have to-
that there is most likely going to be the villain. And the thing is, I know we're already supposed to do 1 of 3 sessions, but I'm already kind of catching big bad vibes from him. And then not only that, like
Void Rain.
Void Rain. Rain.
See, I like that. I like that because that makes him sound like he's bigger than he is. And I like that. Lord Asunder's good too.
I think
Man, it is. Creating a name is difficult, and it's like naming your kid. Like, you know, they're going to be stuck with this. So, Hellgate or Lord Asunder. Oh man, I like Lord Asunder.
Lord Asunder, Herald of the Hellgate.
See, that's what I'm thinking. Or like Void Rain, Herald of the Hellgate. You know, either one of those works well.
I think Void Rain sounds cool, but it sounds cool, but I feel like that should be for a different villain personally. I like Lord Asunder because it looks like when you look at him, I see
That sounds obnoxious. Like, I mean, and I don't mean it in an insulting way, but it's got that I'm so much bigger and pompous than you kind of vibe to it. You know, it's like, you know, kneel before me because you don't, you know, you are unworthy to be in the presence of Lord Asunder. Like, it's got that kind of vibe to it. And that might. And then there are those who call him Tim.
But yeah, like I'm Lord Asunder, Herald
Bill
of
says,
the
roll the
Hellgate.
dice. Evens, it's Hellgate. Odds, it's Hellgate.
Void Rain sounds cool,
Void
but
Rain, Herald of the Hell's Gate. That's cool.
I still
That
like
is.
Lord Asunder, Ember, or what's it called? Lord Asunder, Herald of the Hellgate. It has such like a ring to it, you know? Like imagine he ends up like going into this
Okay.
battle and he goes, I'm Lord Asunder. I'm the Herald of the Hellgate. Bow before me.
See, that's what I'm thinking. We do like a multiple name thing, like a, you know, I am, you know, king of the this and the lord of the that and the bringer of. I think, you know, Lord Asunder, you know, Herald of the Hellgate, bringer of the void rain. Like I think that is the name.
Oh, like
I
kind of like
think,
Inigo Montoya. I know that
yeah,
that's
and like he's void rain could be the being that he's trying to bring forth, that he's supposed to bring forth from the other world, but he uses its name like that's part of his name, and you know, to sound big and important without, you know, admitting that that's not really me. I'm the puppy that works for that pulls my leash. You know, I think that is, I think that's the ticket. I think that is cooking with propane and propane accessories. Available now at, oh my God, what was the name of the propane company in King of the Hill?
wrong guy to ask, oddly enough.
Oh my God. Baron Asunder. Okay, Baron Asunder.
Baron Asunder.
Okay,
Herald of the Hell.
I think that might be better than Lord. Yeah, I just think Lord's been done to death, says Eddie Von
That
P.
is true.
Lord Infernus of the Hellrain is cool.
All right.
I think Baron Asunder. That's yeah. I think that's
Baron
got it.
Asunder.
That's
Baron
I'm
Ember.
going to.
No, because I don't know why. Because I think Ember. I think Brimstone. Baron Brimstone. That could be a cool one.
That's not bad either.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep with. Should I do a magenta looking coat? Probably stick with the. No, I'm probably sticking with the purple. Purple is kind of working with me here.
That's the thing. Better question is, what is the name of the entity giving Lord Asunder his powers? I'm thinking that is the Void Ring, and I'm thinking that is the good name for this cosmic terror that is empowering him to bring it forth, and and for him to be running around, saying, "I am the herald of the Void Ring" and stuff, and using it as his flex when it's not his flex. I'm liking where that's going.
I agree. Not gonna lie. I personally think, and now again, that's just because we're saying. That's also because for me, I'm always giving him that Doom kind of vibe there. But that there is the perfect villain, in my opinion. Now again, we have 3 other sessions, and I have to remember.
Oh yeah, we got 3 more sessions to go creating characters to see where we end up with. And maybe he's just a side character that, they battle for a minute, or maybe he doesn't even show up in the book. We'll see. But I'm liking him. I'm liking where he's going. And I think he could be really cool. I think he could be neato Pepito, if you ask me.
Them burritos do be neatos.
All right, let me throw a little bit of that. Right, Chunder? Right, Chunder for Baron Asunder. There we go. I like him. I mean, I felt like he was going to be a little bit too much Doctor Doom ripoff, but I like the different accents that I've added to him. I like the fire theme. I'm thinking like not only can he generate and shoot fire from his hands, but he can also, like, his boots can kick it out, and he can just engulf himself in flames when he wants to. Yes, or Baron Asunder is the hero trying to stop the other villain trying to release Void Rain. Okay, now see, Bill, you went and done it, Bill. You're messing with me here. You're blowing all my plans, because I got all these fancy plans of doing 3 rounds of creating characters before we hone in on a story. And you're getting me all excited about a story where the villain, who has been supposed to be the guy that was letting Void Rain out and is just abusing the power, ends up having to be the hero to stop it eventually, because he's just been playing around all this time like he's evil. But he's not that evil. He's not evil enough to want to watch everything.
Once you think about it that way too, Dr. Doom is evil. But I mean, once you think about it, he's just simply trying to.
But he wouldn't want to let something destroy everybody. Who's he going to reign if everybody gets killed? He can't have that.
Exactly. Like Dr. Doom, I like it how Stanley kind of put it, like when he was talking about this. I forgot where, but I remembered him specifically stating how, like, imagine if Dr. Doom went to a cop and says, "I want to rule the world." The cop's not really going to do anything about it because, like, yeah, you're just saying it. But him actually, because again, he could be a hero in his own right. I mean, he has a kingdom of his own, Latveria. Apparently he's a good.
To some of his people, he surely is a hero. And, I'm starting to think, what if, because I really like what Benjamin says here, Void Rain would probably need a backup plan if Lord Asunder ever decides to betray him. I don't think for 1 second Void Rain would ever trust one measly mortal being. I don't think I wouldn't trust one ant with all of my plans for kitchen domination, so I would probably be feeding into a lot of them, and I could see, Baron Asunder's like right hand man end up betraying him and trying to actually release this ancient being so that he could get the god and he could get the glory. And Void Rain's been whispering to him through the opening and stuff every time Baron Asunder goes there to plead his case and explain why I can't let you out right now and why we didn't get enough sacrifices and we didn't find the last artifact that your sidekick knows that you're hiding in the background somewhere, and sorry, we can't do it right now. And the whole time Void Rain's whispering to him, luring him to overthrow his boss, and then eventually Baron Asunder has to be the guy to save the day. Oh, that would be good.
But then again,
That
it's
would
like
be good.
it's more like trying like a reverse psychology thing. Like he's trying to use the hellbound powers to to probably take over the world to create world peace. But in the process, yes, you have this evil demon trying his best to like using other people. But then Uno reverse, he's trying to stop him using it's kind of like a Galactus situation, like Silver Surfer's curse with the powers or something like that. I don't know. That's just me kind of chucking those ideas out there. Yeah, my character has no say of being in. Maybe I'm not sure, but I got a purple lizard. I got a lizard wearing a purple trench coat who can mimic other people's powers. Like that is as best as I got. I don't know.
See, I think it would be really interesting. I think it would be very like pulp magazine-ish to have this alien detective stumble onto this mystery. Like he's trying to figure out who killed these guys, who broke into this museum or this research facility, whatnot. Like he's trying to solve these mysteries that seem to be linked together to him, and then he stumbles onto this whole occult nonsense going on with this crazy leader who's amassing these followers, and one dude in a purple trench coat that can look like people and mimic a power at a time against this dude that apparently has these otherworldly cosmic powers and this super armor and an army of followers behind him.
Ooh.
Would be very like Indiana Jones against the Temple of Doom kind of vibes there.
Okay.
I think that could
If
be
anything,
a lot of fun.
Now, from how that sounds, I feel like though he could have like the main character-esque concept, I feel like he would be the Indiana Jones, and maybe the next session we would probably have his short round where like maybe he's the
or we
muscle,
find
he's
the ending to
lead,
his short round,
but
like find the guy that he taps when he's like, okay, yo, this is out of my pay grade, man. I need some help.
now actually
We'll
I
have
was
to
just
see
thinking about it. I
maybe
could
next
have
episode we'll
drawn the belt, but I think it would be interesting how like maybe underneath his trench coat he would have a belt of like DNA samples, maybe like either like a light skin sample or a hair sample of other heroes. So then he'll like kind of like just tap it and then transforms into that person. So then that way he doesn't have to touch anyone, but he'd be like, I got the hair sample of like this world Superman, this world Spider-Man, or this world so-and-so. And then he gets to choose like which one. It's like which one. All right, you're perfect. Let's go. And then gets to turn into that person, maybe only by size, whatever. Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna pull a space ape on this one then. I'm gonna pull a space ape on this, and I'm gonna give him a mask like that he would have to wear over his face. So then when he transforms, he doesn't like get rid of he doesn't expose the identity because he only has like a sample. So he'll turn into that person verbatim. He'll turn into a perfect.
Oh, so like he would turn into Batman, but not have the cowl on, and everybody would see Bruce
Exactly.
Wayne standing there using Batman powers, or see Matt Murdock, bouncing around off of the walls when he's supposed to be blind. And yeah.
So we can kind of go from there. So because I think so I believe there was another. So again, dial H for hero. Was the
DNA alien.
DNA alien.
That's pretty good.
I like that.
That's
I like that. Oh, but hear me out on this. So in the series, there was I think a 2007 series, Dial H for Hero. In that series, I'm not sure if it was 2007 or not, but I remembered it was a man and this older woman, and there was this woman who used to have the hero dial, but whenever she would transform, she will actually have a mask and like a purple, ironically enough, a purple like uh hood and cape, like a Little Red Riding Hood style. She would have that, and whatever she would transform into, she would just kind of put that on, and she would have her own like superhero identity. She'll just use the hero underneath it as to keep up with the powers. So that's what she would do.
Oh, so she would have one costume over that, so whoever she changed into would look like on the outside, she was super chick or whatever, and she was changing into a variety of superheroes underneath it, but
Yeah,
that way you
I think
just
the best way
super
to
chick
I
has
think the
all
best
this-
way to explain is kind of like the opposite of what I was talking about for him. Like he would have like for instance, this guy would have to wear a mask in the off chance that he would turn into someone, because again, he's going to be the exact clone of that person. So again, if he was to be
Mhm.
Superman, he will literally like tap the hair DNA and then boom, he will literally become Clark Kent, Superman. That's what he would be. But in this case, for the Dial H character that I'm talking about, it was this older woman, and whenever she would basically turn the dial, she will actually have the full-fledged superhero costume on. Like imagine literally hitting the dial, and you turn into the Flash or turning into a Supergirl. You will literally have like their full-fledged costume. But what she'll do is she'll just tap on the purple cape and hood, and then eventually she'll just put the mask on just to keep the identity of like who she's trying to be, like literally trying to put a different coat of paint on top of an already established
trying to keep a consistent
exactly
identity, even though you're randomly turning into 4 arms and accelerate each time, but wanting to be Superman or whatever.
exactly
Dragon Gaming suggested something like similar to Iron Fist mask would be cool. Public Domain World says, now we mention it, Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. I don't want to know how difficult it is for him to eat with these senses. He cannot eat anything with a lot of flavor, so no pizza time for Matt, I guess. I mean, I think he would have a incredibly particular way of eating and would be really specific about things that he would eat and wouldn't eat, and have a lot of texture issues and things, because I know I do. I think with having your senses turned up that loud, it would definitely be a problem. That's something I would really like to talk about next time, because I have a lot of things that I think about that they miss out using on Daredevil that would be really awesome. But we're getting really close to 4:30, and I got a whole other show I got to go do for the 5-star
you
feed,
do, and I think
where we are going to be having a spoiler-ridden discussion, I believe, about Spider-Man. So if you haven't watched Spider-Man, you don't want to watch 5-star feed yet, because we are going to be talking about all of the things. If you do want to have an interesting discussion about all of the things having to do with Spider-Man movie, then come hang out at the 5-star feed at 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern. And speaking of which, I had to scroll way back on Discord to see where we talked about this. But Friday night, right now, as far as it stands right now, we're leaning towards doing 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on Friday is what we're thinking about.
yes,
So that we can try and give everybody a chance to like get home from work or get up in the morning if you're in other parts of the globe. And so hopefully we'll see how that works, and then do a Monday morning one after that. I'm going to try and get both of those scheduled so I can send the links out at one time if I can.
all right.
But cool.
And
we'll see you.
not only
We'll see
that-
you on Friday, Eddie. And you're going to be there. Yeah, you're going to be there for the next show.
And I am complete. I decided to use Bible Man colors, and there we go. We got the full completed. I don't know what his name, DN Alien. So there you go. We got DN Alien, the detective, the shape-shifting, mimicking detective. So, And whenever he transforms, he'll always have a different person underneath that mask, which means I think he should only have a select few of the best heroes in some circumstances, hence why he would need to, like, you know, grow, shrink, or something else. So he wears a really baggy thing. Anyways, I love this. We have, what's his name? Baron Asunder, Herald of the Hellgate. And we have DN Alien, the shape-shifting detective alien. I mean, this is a pretty good start. This is a really interesting start, I should say, at least from my side. I know for Fish, this is a really, really good start for the 1 of 3. So again, be sure to tune in on the other streams for our other takes on other things that we're going to be rolling up. If you want to see what kind of characters we're going to be creating, again, make sure to pop on over. If you haven't supported the Roll for Hero Kickstarter, please do go to GoMrFish.com and go support the Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter, find the Roll for Hero Handbook. You guys don't want to miss out. This is the one time where you guys literally get to influence comic book artists on what we're going to be able to draw and how the story is going to go down. But I have been yipping, I have been yapping for way too long. Fish has a whole different show. But yeah, Uncle E, could you use your PD hero for gold for DN Alien, unless you have a roll? Maybe. Who knows? That's a whole different topic for a different day. I'm going to more or less end this. You ready, Fish?
No, I'm ready.
All right, everybody. We are going to end this amazing, fun, and unique session of Roll for Hero. So, of course, to the nieces and nephews and those in between, make sure to follow these 3 simple rules. Make sure to stay awesome, to stay weird, and to keep life to the easiest. Always remember that art inspires all, but you can inspire more. And until then, everyone, keep it easy, and your uncles love you.
Roll for Hero!
You know, and even if you were to have like a prompt of 10 different things, right? Like say if you had one prompt of like, oh, like here's 10 different personality traits, here's 10 different superpowers, here's 10 different drawbacks.
I like coming up with random list of powers and then just see what I come up with.
Imagine rolling just those things every single